Hey, I just jumped on my computer real quick. Quality's not too great. I'm wearing a headset 'cause this is my only mic. But I just came back from my Keyforge pre-release at my locals, and there's a game from the finals that I'm gonna link when I find it because someone else recorded that, and it's hot. Because every deck that I played with this deck, we had great games. It was just an amazing day. I had a great time. The deck is ridiculous, and I just kind of wanted to share it because it's just so good. I didn't just like open the nuttiest deck, or maybe I did. Maybe it's really rare. I'm actually not sure. I'm hoping that maybe some guys can answer those questions in the comments based on what they've opened in their pre-release decks. But yeah, let's just get right into this. I went 3-1 with this deck. It was great. I won the first 3 rounds, and then I played a kind of as I said. I'll try and link the video. I don't want to like spoil anything, but it wasn't the greatest matchup. I didn't draw too well. I maybe shouldn't have mulliganed the hands that I had, but I felt like I could open better, and I didn't. But that's a whole separate thing. Let's just take a look at this. So I opened the deck Buddy, Bassus, Castle Commander. Sorry, I'm going to be looking down a lot because I have the lights off, so there's not a lot of glare. Yeah, I can't remember what all the cards do, so I'm going to be reading some of them. But yeah, Buddy, Bassus, Castle Commander was my Archon. And it's as you can see, Sanctum, Mars, Shadows. We're going to go over the Shadows last because it was ridiculous. So we're going to start with the Mars, I guess. So the Mars, we opened a Think Drone. Now, Think Drone's a card from set 1. It lets you archive your own creatures. Really good card if you have good synergy with it. And boy, did we have good synergy with this card. I'll get to that later at the end. For the record, this is an 11 rare deck. Maybe that'll help some of you already just guess what it is, and then you can turn off the video because you're like, oh, I know what he opened. Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to get an 11 rare deck without something weird like this going on. But yeah, so getting into some of the new cards here, we had Mars first. Gain an Amber, untap, and then use one of your Mars creatures. Really good card. Not much to say there. And then I had 3 Harvester. Which was really good with Mars first. It just reaps for 2 as long as it's in the right spot on your board and it's not getting clogged by some other stuff. And that was great because we had 3 of them and it was really good. I got this guy here. This guy bolts some dudes for 2 when you play him, and on play damage is really good on cards, even if it's just 2. And he has an armor, which is also really good. As you'll see later, armor is really important in this deck. And then he can also move stuff, where positioning is not super important, but does come up in this deck as well. I definitely bolted my own guy a couple times just to kind of move them around, although that didn't come up too often. Now, you'll notice I have a lot of Martians here. I have the guy who gives all their Martians armor. Again, lots of armor going on in Mars, lots of creatures going on in Mars. And I had a Dominator. The taunt was relevant. The armor was relevant. He didn't do much swinging because he was stunned all the time, but you know, occasionally he got off, and that was really cool. With the Harvesters, I had Brainstem Antenna. Brainstem Antenna was really good because it helped me untap, so I could get them off before my opponent got rid of them. Mothership Support, old card, wasn't really that good. Gave me an Amber, whatever. When your bad cards give you Amber, that's usually pretty good. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm rushing because I'm really excited and I wanted to get Shadows. But yeah, I mean, these cards, the new cards are really good, and this is one of them. I played this card wrong in one of my games. It was not the reason that I won that game, although it was very good. I would have won that game anyways. But yeah, I definitely cheated a little with this card. I read it wrong, and then I realized that, and I fixed that for the other games that I played. But yeah, sick card. It was good. I feel kind of bad about having played it wrong today. But that was about the only feel bad that I had today. Today was lit. This deck was lit. I got my first set of metal keys from going second place at this event. And it was just killer. So now that we've got Mars out of the way, we start looking at some of the good stuff. Sanctum, mostly a bunch of meaty creatures. So we just had, you know, we had like this guy who like captures stuff. He's new. Not super relevant. And then we had Marduk the Marked. Again, lots of armor going around. Thick boys. Not going to die very easily. This card was really good. It's Charette on steroids, 4/1, capture 3, and then you can, when you reap, you dump the amber off of him, so you're like actually generating amber value while slowing your opponent down. It's really good. I had 2 Charlies to deploy taunt. Again, lots of armor. But what really got the armor going was I had 2 of Bulwark 3.0, which is this guy who doesn't give himself armor, but gives everything else 1/0 armor, and then his action can give more armor. Although that didn't come up ever. Literally never did that. It wasn't ever a good play. But the 1 armor that he just normally gives is really good, and people were not breaking my boards, and that felt amazing. And you might be wondering, wow, that's a lot of big creatures in your deck. So when you look at this card, you might be wondering, that seems really bad. Don't worry, this card was a blowout. It was amazing, and we'll get to why when we get to Shadows. Every card that we're looking at right now is just really good with my Shadows, and that's part of the reason that I did so well today. Although I can tell you I definitely didn't draw well every game, and we had to make some wonky plays to struggle through sometimes, but despite that, it was fairly consistent, and it got me there 3 of those games, and it almost got me there on that 4th game. I don't want to say almost. I caught up a little bit, but I was pretty far behind. That last game I'm still a little bit upset about, but it was fun. So all the games today were just so good. Anyway, so take hostages. It was just 1 amber. It never gave me anything more than 1 amber, but that's okay. Seraphic Armor. This card was really good. Armor, heal, amber. No matter what I played it for, it was useful, and that was really good. Proclamation 346E. Now, this artifact is Jammer Pack as an artifact, and it's insane. My opponent almost always had 3 creatures, almost never had 3 creatures of different houses. If they did, I could clear them off easily. And they were always spending more for keys, or, it just locked them out entirely. This card was insane. I don't know if I like it better than Jammer Pack. I think I would have preferred Jammer Pack. But at the same time, it's much harder to remove this, even though Jammer Pack is maybe a little more flexible in when you can use it. If they already have the 3 creatures, it has a little bit less immediate impact because you still have to clear those creatures. That said, it wasn't a problem in this deck because my Sanctum creatures were so big. I was almost always ahead on the board. Spirit's Way is part of the reason for that. This is another reason for that. So this Potion of Invulnerability, I don't like it very much, or at least I didn't, because I didn't usually used to like fighting a lot. But this card has purposes other than fighting, as we'll see when, again, we get to Shadows, which we're almost at because this is the last Sanctum card. And it was really good. And it was also a blowout, and I'll show you why as we get into it. So when we move on to our Shadows, we have, I believe, 5. I did this. I said this wrong earlier. I believe it was 6 different cards in Shadows. Now you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of 2 and 3 ofs. You'd be wrong. There are some 2 of. There's 1 2 of. The rest are singles, and then there's 1 6 of. That's right, I said 6 of. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm very happy it's a thing. I have an 11 rare deck in this deck because I got 6 of a rare. But yeah, let's just start with the bad ones. So we have Redlock. This card did nothing. It was a 3 power elusive body, whatever, it doesn't matter. Piece of garbage. This guy was really good, helped me with that amber control, because I was kind of lacking it, even though I had a few good cards for it. One such card was the Routine Job I had 2 of, which that was helping the rare count as well. This is the reason that the deck has 11 rares in it, is partly because of that. And then I had Merkins. Merkins Wild Wormholes your opponent, but also from their archive if you want, which is really cool. And that, while that didn't come up for me today, despite the ridiculous amount of archiving that I saw people doing with logos, because they all opened the same shit, and it was really frustrating. This card was fun, and I liked it, and it was really good every time I played it. Beautiful, beautiful card. So that leaves me to my last 2 cards, and if you were counting, yes, there are 7 cards. So the other one was also a 1 of, and that was Whirling Darts, which was better than you may think, even though you probably thought it was a pretty good card already, because it is, but it's better than that because of the other 6 cards, which are, now that we're finally here, 6 Plague Rats. No joke, 6 Plague-Rats in my deck. I don't know if that's a lot. I assume it's a lot, but maybe you can open more. Maybe that's the low end. Maybe you're just guaranteed 6. I don't know because nobody knew. Nobody knew anything because it's a new set. And I'm sure by the time that people see this, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, well, there's no Plague-Rats. That's like nothing. Or that's so many more Plague-Rats than anyone else has ever opened. Why are you so chill about this? I had fun with these 6 Plague-Rats today. They did work. They were so much fun. If you don't have a Plague-Rat deck, which I assume you don't because, again, it's pre-release today, set's not out yet, I strongly recommend you do whatever you can in your power to try and find one because they're more fun to play a Plague-Rat deck than almost any other deck I've ever played in this game. If you liked how Horseman felt, playing like Pestilence and just like dumping boards of small shit, this is that on steroids because you can dump big boards. If you don't know how Plague-Rat works, for every rat that you have, and I had 6 of them, when you play it, you deal 1 damage to each non-rat creature for each rat creature that you have. So this means if you play 2 Plague-Rats, a third of your Plague-Rats, is 3 damage to every non-rat creature. And because I could potion of invulnerability and I had so much armor, that was really good. The potion, particularly if I was playing 3 or more Plague-Rats, was disgusting. I don't know how else to put it. I would deal like full board wipes, and then my board would be full. I would Spirit's Way while sitting on a shitload of Plague-Rats that would clear off all their small stuff, and then reap with them because they're elusive too. And it was unstoppable until the last round when it got stopped. But mostly because I didn't draw all of them together and I didn't get Spirit's Way until the end of the game. And this game's so frustrating. Yeah, Plague-Rats. This card is something else, and they're rares. So in Shadows alone, those and the routine job is like 8 rares. This is by far one of the coolest decks I've opened. I've definitely opened some spicy Maverick stuff and like some other stuff, and I would definitely make videos about some of those in the future because I have some really cool decks. I really want to show them off, and some people, as far as I'm aware, just like checking out those really cool decks. But I think this one like takes the cake as the most fun one I've ever played, and that's really cool. So if you don't play this game, play this game. It's great. Keyforge is amazing. If you play Keyforge and you don't have a Plague-Rat deck and you didn't plan on getting a Plague-Rat deck, get a Plague-Rat deck because it's so much fun. And yeah, I'll try and find that video of the finals to post in the comments or something. But yeah, today was a blast. This deck was absolutely the best thing that's happened to me in all of the decks I've Keyforged. We're going to pretend that sentence made sense.